This video is jam-packed full of Dollar Tree inspiration, tons of DIYs and hacks how to grab some simple items from the Dollar Tree and turn them into gorgeous pieces that you can decorate your patio or outdoor space for more of a cozy setting this season. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and let's get on into it. So I have used these little containers in the past, these truffle containers they're called at Dollar Tree, but I've just used them individually. So I had this fun idea, if I actually stack them up, I could make this like a different color planter or container. So I started by just putting these out on a tarp and spray painting them different colors. I did a black, a white, and a gold, and I had it in my head how I was going to do these. The black was going to be on the bottom, but whenever I went to stack them up, they didn't stack right. So the gold one was actually bigger and it didn't work on the top. So be sure to keep that in mind if you are spray painting these certain colors. But it actually ended up working out really well. I put the gold on the bottom, and then to make it look a little bit nicer, I do go ahead and paint the stand black at the very end. But I hot glued these all together and then put a piece of styrofoam inside. And then I love how Dollar Tree has all of this hanging greenery now. So I'm just mixing a ton of that in, just really trying to cover up and fill in this space. But I love how all of the greenery just drapes over the edges and makes this look like a fun full piece. Another fun idea is to use 3 of these together on a piece of wood or MDF. You can put these outside. You can add in herbs, flowers, succulents, real or fake. Sometimes I like to opt for the fake flowers from Dollar Tree, but either way you want to go, this looks so classy and is perfect for any type of style. Next up, while shopping, I found these nice plaid plank pieces. These were $3.97, so right under $4. I picked up a few of them and I instantly knew what I wanted to do. I was going to try to connect these together to make a larger piece. So the first thing I had to do was strip them down. I pulled off the labels and took the little hangers off of the back, and I'm actually going to be attaching these together a little bit later on. First, I wanted to give these a coat of stain, so using my favorite flagstone stain. That's all I use on anything anymore. I just love it so much right now. And these were a little bit tricky to stain because they did have a lot of details underneath and getting the sides of the boards, but I just took a couple extra minutes, and then after that dried, I sanded it to give it a little bit more of a distressed look and let some of that lighter color wood show through. And then using some wood glue, I am attaching these with some tower blocks. I was constantly making sure these were setting flush together so that none of the glue was going to drip in between. After they were glued together, I placed this outside on my outdoor dining table and decorated it with some solar lights and this candle, and I just love it, and it's something that won't blow away. I know a ton of people have glued together the Dollar Tree placemats to make little pillows, so that's what I wanted to do with these woven rugs. These have a gorgeous pattern on there, and I love the tassels on the side, but I wanted to change mine up, make it a little bit fancier by adding a stencil on there as well. So I wanted to write the word home. I just recently put up a new porch swing and I am loving it, but I wanted some fun little throw pillows to put on there that was really inexpensive. So I chose this curly cursive little home. It did have some little details in there that I forgot to turn off, so I just ended up picking them off so that I was scared that the paint wasn't really going to show up on something that small on this much of a pattern design. So I decided just to pick those off and leave the letters to paint. So I placed the stickers back in the center. Like I say, you could use transfer tape. I was just scared it really wasn't going to work very well sticking to the rug, but the vinyl stuck better to this fabric better than I thought it would. So I would recommend trying the transfer tape first, but I was low in stock at home, so I didn't want to use it up. And then once again, dabbing this in with black paint, filling it all in, I let it dry a few minutes and then removed all of the vinyl. But a lot of people glue these together, and that's definitely what I did right here. But if you have the extra time, I would recommend, you can still glue it, but I would recommend stitching some large stitches around the edges just to make sure if this pillow does set in the sunshine or gets really warm, the glue's not melty and it doesn't pull apart, that it stays together. So gluing this on 3 sides and then filling in the top with stuffing that I had from a different throw pillow. So here you can see the black smudge on the side of the pillow that I was trying to cover up. I remembered I had these huge wooden buttons from Walmart in this jar that I picked up. So I decided just to glue them down to kind of look like they were attached on each side. And I love this. It definitely mixes in with my boho farmhouse decor. There's a lot of like wood tones out there on the porch. So I feel like this would be so beautiful. And I just love how it ended up looking sitting on this little swing. The next project is super simple, but I picked up one of these citronella candles from Walmart. I hate getting eat up by mosquitoes in the summertime, so I always have these candles sitting out everywhere ready to light them up whenever I want them, but this was just plain black and I knew we could make it look a little bit nicer if we added a decal on there. So headed back to my Cricut, I am using this clay colored vinyl, which I thought was a perfect color, and I cut out this beautiful little leaf out of the permanent vinyl, and I was able just to transfer it on this candle and really update it and make it look a lot better than just being plain black. It did have a little rough piece in the middle, so it did kind of indent around the center, but I was able to press it down in there, still get it to fit really nice and tight, and smoothing this on with my rubbing tool. And this is how it came together. I placed it outside on a DIY tray that I made, but super cute, and I love the extra detail. So for the first thing I'm making is a wreath to go like out on our new patio or porch that we just built, and I feel like this will just add so much fun color to this. You could customize this with so many of the different colors. I love using just a couple of different colors of the flowers from Dollar Tree, so it's not super busy, and then all of my decorative pieces are really going to pop out. But I do love mixing in the same color in different styles of flowers. So I picked out the different kinds that I loved, and then I'm going to tie these on with jute twine and kind of bend the stem in the shape of the wreath ring, and just keep going in the same direction and stacking these on top of each other. I love using the jute twine and tying it down versus the floral wire because I just feel like it is so much easier to work with. So I left this spot a little thin on purpose so I could glue down a decorative sign. I'm using one of these Walmart circles. This is from Plaid, very inexpensive, and I thought I would go ahead and stain it. I am loving all of the wood tones and everything, and I thought it would be really pretty to add that into this wreath. And I also am going to be adding in a bow, so I feel like this color goes perfect with the Dollar Tree burlap ribbon. So I go ahead and stain that with my flagstone stain, and then you can see it fits perfect in that little spot that I left out of flower. And then this is the ribbon I'm going with, and I love making bows this way. It is just the easiest way for me, but just creating some loops out of the ribbon and stacking them together. I usually do 2 or 3, but in this case I'm doing the 3 because I just feel like it needed a little bit more fluff to fill up the space. I didn't like how the wooden circle was kind of getting pushed back behind the flowers, so I decided to build it up a little bit by using these tower blocks. These are just tiny pieces of wood, and it's going to let me glue it onto the wreath ring, but it will kind of stick up past the flowers and really pop out. I chose Home Sweet Home. I thought that would be so cute and appropriate to go on this little wreath, but I love this wreath. I feel like it came out so beautiful, exactly what I was going for, and adds that perfect touch for spring. Recently in Dollar Tree, I found all of these gorgeous tote bags. They had several different designs, and I've even been seeing different designs at different stores, so keep an eye out for what you can find. But I wanted to create some fun outdoor pillows with these. So I actually didn't buy cotton or filler for this. I'm just using an old pillow. We constantly go through pillows all the time. So I just like to keep them, a couple of them on hand for projects just like this, because it can be pricey to go out and buy like cotton or filler like that. So just keep that in mind. Hold on to your pillows that you don't love or you want to change out. Just grab the tote bags from Dollar Tree. You can easily just kind of hem over the top and then seal it up with some hot glue. You also could opt for some fabric glue, but this seems to hold really nicely for me. I've had this out on the patio for quite a while. I've done this in years past, and it seems to hold really, really well. I think the gnomes are perfect for any type of outdoor space. I love how you could choose the different color schemes, but these really dress up your space, and you could pair them with like some nicer outdoor pillows, but you're not having to spend like 10 and 15 bucks per pillow, but you'll just get to mix in like some really cute pillows without having to spend a fortune. Next up, I wanted to use this dollar store set of hooks, Dollar Tree set of hooks, and make a little wooden sign on it. So to make this sign, I am going to be piecing together these little wooden planks. Now, once again, if you're not a Dollar Tree crafter, you definitely can check out the hardware store and go get real wood for these projects. But these are so inexpensive and easy to work with, so it wasn't nothing just to put these together. I'm actually using a combination of liquid nails and hot glue to get a really strong hold on this, and I just had a couple of pieces of Hobby Lobby. They're bigger than popsicle sticks, so these little planks of wood for the backing, and piece them together and then use some wood filler to fill in the crack. I wanted to create a sign to put outside that I could kind of hang like the gardening tools on, whether I am working in like flower beds or gardening. Fun fact, me and my husband actually love growing a garden, and we do that every year. We grow a ton of stuff like squash, cucumbers, and tomatoes, and green beans, and watermelons, and cantaloupes, and a ton of things. I probably forgot everything, but I love gardening. Now, I don't know if this is going to be 100% functional. I think it's going to be more like cute decor that I will put on my porch versus just being functional, because it would get really dirty if you used your tools and then hung them back up here. But I wanted to create this little sign. I thought it would be really cute. And whenever you love gardening, it's always fun to decorate outside with gardening pieces. So after I got my sign all painted white, I wanted to cut out "Welcome to my garden," and I decided to do that with the black permanent. And you don't have to do this. It's gonna hold on there really nice and tight. It is permanent vinyl, but I always love to go over my projects with some type of clear sealant, sometimes Mod Podge, sometimes I spray it with clear spray paint, but just to give it a little bit more protection in case the rain blows in or the sun touches it. I like to keep all of these projects under a covered roof, but just to let you know there, in case you are making these. But I cut out "Welcome to my garden," and I decided to separate the little vines so that I could cut them apart and put them on both sides. I then got everything down in place and then glued this to the hooks. I even tacked the rope on the back of the sign to make sure that it was going to stay nice and flat, but this is how it came together. I hung my little tools on it, and I feel like it is such a beautiful, fun piece that kind of just represents one of our most fun hobbies. Next up, I am using this wooden tray. Now this is something that I thrifted, but it was a nice quality, just looked a little bit dated with the orange undertones and darker wood color. So I give this a coat of white paint. I do let this dry and sand it down because I do want it to have that distressed look. I'm going to be putting this outside in my little seating area. It is under a covered porch, but it still will get natural wear and tear. So I love distressing these pieces because it just feels like it makes them last longer and they don't seem worn to me after they do kind of wear a little bit. So I head to Cricut Craft Space and I found this cute leaf pattern. So I go ahead and cut that out, and I'm using this as a stencil to paint some really fun designs in the middle. After I get all of the weeded vinyl out, or the vinyl weeded out, I'm going to use some of my transfer tape and try to transfer this over onto the tray. Now sometimes vinyl doesn't like to stick to paint, so you can give it a coat of Mod Podge if you're struggling with that, but this seemed to go okay. Just stuck it on there and then went in with some moss green Waverly chalk paint, filled in all the leaves, let that dry, and then peeled away the vinyl. I did have to peel away some of the tiny little veins of the leaves and then went over them a little bit with some more sandpaper, but I feel like this turned out really pretty. Definitely belongs outdoors and adds that boho look for sure. I am loving those soft colored little succulents that Dollar Tree's been putting out. So they have like that gorgeous blue as well as a purple color. So I wanted this to have more of a dark look. So I did take this outside and spray it with this. It's called London Gray, but it's more of like a brown spray paint. And then just adding in these gorgeous succulents. They do have like a wire in them, but then they do have some kind of like plastic coating. So I try to pull that off and keep the wire attached. And then you're able to slide this inside of the wreath for more stability, and then you can just kind of tack them in place with hot glue. I love the bigger succulents that are to the right. I was able to build it up on one side, and I love how it's not perfectly symmetrical, but everything just flows nice and smooth. Okay, so first up, I discovered that if you stack these together, it leaves the perfect amount of space to put some little decorative beads in here. So I always keep a jar of these wooden beads on hand. You can pick them up at any craft store or even order them on Amazon. But I wanted to make like a little garland to wrap around this. So I didn't want to have to hot glue each individual wooden bead on there. So I am going ahead and threading this on a piece of jute twine until I get the right amount to fit around the entire bowl and tie it into place. And I didn't even hot glue mine together. I thought it would be fun if I wanted to take it apart later and use these pieces for different items or different DIYs. But you could add a couple of dots of hot glue, but this is holding together nice and tight, so I just left it as is. Now these were super shiny, so I did go in with some matte black spray paint and just give them a coat or two so it wasn't so much of a shiny plastic finish. And you can see how much better that these look, and they'll be so much nicer looking sitting on a shelf. I tied my garland around there, and you can see how simple this was, and it turned it from just a single little pet bowl into an actually like nice decorative bowl that you could fill with like pretty much anything you wanted. I placed in a couple of flickering lanterns and then filled the rest of this little bowl up with some Dollar Tree potpourri. Another really fun DIY to use with these pet bowls is to grab a colorful one for summer. Once again, adding in my ribbon. I just feel like this is the easiest way to give it a makeover and just kind of warm it up from just being plastic. So using some of this gorgeous ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I love like this ticking stripe or whatever that is supposed to be called, but I put this around like the groove of it, so I was able to get it perfectly straight just using my hot glue. And then I wanted to give it some little nautical rope handle. So this is supposed to kind of look like those huge buckets that everyone puts out by the pool and puts drinks and ice in. I think it would be so fun to make these little mini coolers or mini tubs for like a summer party. I just ended up placing this one by the door, so if we needed any sunscreen or sunglasses, we could grab it out of here, but this was too cute. I ended up just tying a couple of knots in the nautical rope and then hot gluing them to this little bowl, and I just feel like it's the cutest thing ever. If you wanted to put in the extra tying, you could actually drill holes. I feel like the little lip of the bowl is wide enough that you could drill a hole there to actually run the nautical rope through there to make it a little bit sturdier. But like I said, this is just mostly for decorative purposes or setting out on a table. Nobody's really going to be picking it up. So just gluing the handles on there is working for me. I love how this has like a nautical beach vibe. I just think it is really, really cute. I filled it up with some of my to-go items that we need for the pool or running out the door, but just a really super cute, fun way to use up this plain blue bowl. If you look out, you can find these huge rug pieces. They're kind of just like a piece of carpet instead of like an actual rug with a border, but they're called utility mats. They're 9 inches by 36 inches. So this is a great size, but I wanted to put a couple of these together to make like a doormat. So I love darker doormats in the summertime. I feel like they don't get as dirty as easy as like a super light one. Like I made a scarecrow one once and you could just see the footprints on it. So this is going to camouflage it in and help protect like my pretty rugs like underneath it. So I wanted to connect these together to make it a bigger piece that I could decorate. So I'm using a piece of burlap. This is just Dollar Tree burlap. Glued this on. I know it's silly, but I did piece these together with a couple of popsicle sticks just to hold the sides in place. But to decorate this, I am grabbing a couple of these large felt pieces. I didn't want to waste money, so I'm just grabbing a couple of them and I'm going to move them around where I need them. But using some white flat spray paint, I'm going to go over these the best I can. You're going to be able to see all of the detail it's going to show up, especially like the middle of the flowers, and then just move that to the other side to keep this going like a fun pattern. Super simple to do, and you can really make over a rug on a budget. Just fixing up your entryway space, especially for spring and summertime.